So just how far will some people go in order to get off work early? Brian, I don't know if you saw this story this week, but this is an example from Tulsa, Oklahoma. A clerk at a convenience store asked a friend to find someone to rob the store where he worked. The reason? Because he wanted to leave early. Sure enough, a man walked into the store, handed the employee a note telling him to hand over all the money or he would be shot. The employee obliged and was quickly charged with embezzlement.
Wow.
You really wanted a nap that day, man.
I mean, the stuff that is this real?
It's a true story. Yeah.
Oh, it is. There, fox4news.com.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it just happened this week. Also, earlier, speaking of earlier, we explored the possibility of living longer and healthier over the next couple of decades, and that the longer we live, the more of our resources we're likely to use, obviously. According to Kiplinger, that may mean leaving less to our heirs, which I don't think is a good thing. What are some of the legacy planning strategies for preserving our assets, Brian?
Well, it's having an integrated approach, honestly. It says Caring.com conducted its 2023 wills and estate planning study. The findings show that only 1 in 3 Americans have a documented estate plan, with more than 1 in 3 without a will, saying that they didn't have enough assets, money to leave to anyone. Its study also revealed, as with findings from past years, Americans with an annual income of more than $80,000 are more likely to have a will. Well, of course. With 49% reported having an established estate plan. That's really funny. My number in my head was 50% of our clients, which all of our clients probably have over an $80,000 income.
Yeah.
But it's about 50% of the time. And it doesn't really...
Sorry, 50% that they have a will?
That they have anything.
Oh, okay.
They have a will, meaning they have some kind of estate plan, right?
Gotcha.
A will is just a section of an estate plan.
Right.
The estate plan is the whole package kind of, but...
I've learned that from you. That's one slice of the 8-piece pie.
Right. Yeah. You know, so a lot of people, well, I got a will. Well, good. That's good. You got a $5 million net worth and you have a will. Do you have an estate plan, though? And they go, well, I don't really know what you mean by that. I said,
let me show you how much you're paying in taxes.
Yeah. I mean, and so that's the funny thing. A lot of times the questions we ask about estate planning actually relates to tax planning, right? And you can't...
Yeah, those two go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is there's recommendation. I had to go back to the attorney that this new prospective client had just gotten a estate plan, a will, a trust, the whole 9 yards, and redo it because they should have started with a comprehensive financial plan, right? They're doing the estate plan without doing the tax planning side of things. And so cost her probably another, I don't know what it was, $1,500 or $2,000. She was kind of complaining about, but I said, well, you did it backwards. And that's not your fault. She doesn't know, right? But the attorney should have been, you know what? You need a financial planner.
Yeah.
Let's get all this other stuff cleaned up first.
And then we'll do it. Yeah.
And then I'll tag on the estate plan when you're done, right? So I've had to recently go through this myself, right? So a lot of people say, oh, well, you probably do this all yourself. No, I have a team of people that have done an integrated estate and tax plan for my business, and and all that, and my net worth, and it's got to be together. And it should be the same exact people, so they're looking at all those areas, and they're not being missed, right? And so I think, what our number, though, on our clients, it's probably in the 95 to 98% of ours have an estate plan.
Yeah.
And the only ones that don't...
Because they're with you. I mean, that's what...
Right, because it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not wanting to do this, it's not going to work out.
Right.
Because I'm not going to continue to, barrage you with, we're not trying to sell you an estate plan. It's not, we don't make a dime if you get the will or the trust or the irrevocable trust or the business trust or whatever kind of trust it is that you need to either save on taxes or estate taxes when you pass away, or just to make sure the assets go to the people that you love. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's what an estate plan is. It's a big, huge love letter that an attorney wrote.
That's a good way of looking at it.
It's not very lovely, but like a love letter. But it's kind of like that, right? I mean, you're saying, I care about Noah, right?
Spray
Your
a little
son.
perfume on it.
Yeah, right.
A little heart.
But I mean, you have an estate plan that says if my wife and I pass away, my assets are going to Noah, and I don't want him to have this huge headache, right? And attorneys, well, some of your friends are attorneys, but you also don't want to give them $100,000 in fees
Right.
from your estate. You want it to go to Noah the way that you intended it, so he has the most control. Maybe you don't want to give him 100% control at his current age, but
Right. 25. I'm sure he'd be really responsible.
Oh
with that.
yeah, he wouldn't buy a Ferrari. No, he'd probably buy like a Maserati, actually.
Yeah, right.
More, right. But the idea is that you don't want it going to taxes. You don't want it going to attorney fees or legal fees or probate fees or whatever. You want it going to the people that you love and care about. And also, when you die, you don't want it taxes, right? Or more importantly, when you sell your business or you sell your real estate or that stock in the company that you've owned that's got a low cost basis and you're going to owe $500,000. Like all of that has to be integrated together. But legacy planning, what does it mean? You're preserving your legacy, which is the assets you've preserved. And we start with tax planning on that because we have a client that just sold their stock, his portion, and it's $1 million tax savings.
Wow.
$1 million tax savings.
Tax savings?
Just this 1 year.
That's a big return.
Right? And over the last few years, there's probably been another couple $100,000 in tax savings on other strategies we've implemented. So you go, look, okay, so 1.2 million over a few years. The fees that we are charging are so small. I'd have to go back and add it up compared to, he's got a 10 times return on his investment for what he's paid us, right? Not alone the other things.
People should be putting you in their will.
Well,
That's what I think.
Not everybody has that such a big significant impact, but the idea is that, and nobody does, by the way. That's
Yeah.
that is not being a fiduciary, right? Unless it's a family member.
Oh, I gotcha.
Then, no, I actually have clients do that. I had a really good friend who's our old CPA for years and years. He's like, Brian, I'm thinking about leaving money to you. I said, can't do it.
Yeah. Huh, interesting.
I'm like, no. I know we're friends.
Maybe you should rethink this whole fiduciary thing.
I said, you do that, I'm in big trouble. No thanks. Don't leave a dime to me.
Interesting. Huh.
I'm managing if they wasn't a client, then that'd be different.
Yeah, right.
But the idea is that you need to have this comprehensive plan that is looking at all those areas, because when you pass, not if, when you pass away, it is a absolute mess. And the kids, honestly, a lot of times, or the spouse I've seen bitterness grow when it wasn't there before because you didn't take enough time, Dad. You played golf 3 times a week, but you couldn't take an hour, a couple hours. Honestly, a lot of our estate plans that we put together, the time that there is involved, it might be a couple hours altogether. The initial appointment, the follow-up, the signing. Really? You can spend an hour and a half, 2 hours to save us, $50,000 or $150,000 in attorney fees and headache, the time. We didn't get it. We've had clients wait 2 years going through the probate process when they could have completely avoided it, but they ignore it. Right? It's like, oh, well, I'll do it later.